In this video, I'll cover why we have created our own IDP to make it easy for you to integrate Figaf with your SAP Cloud Integration or integration suite. So why do we use the Web API? So obviously it is one of the things we're not proud of, but we use the Web API because it has some things that is currently not available in the private API or the public API. So this is enabling trace for an iFlow and viewing version history of an object. So see who made a change on it last and when it was changed last. And there's a few other smaller features that we're using, like 20 different API calls that could be different. Some of these we could probably rewrite to use the current public APIs, but since we at least have these two bullet points, we still need to be using this approach. So we'll be logging in as the user, and obviously we're working with SAP to simplify this, and hopefully at some point in time we will remove this this option. So one of the challenges that we have is SAP is pushing all S users to be using Universal ID, and this would require an extra step when we're logging in users. We could probably also do that. It shouldn't be a big challenge to add that to our validation, but the problem is that sometimes this requires a CAPTCHA, which, well, probably we could find a workaround for, but it would just add a lot of complexity and it would not be impossible, or will be close to impossible to support it. So that is why we need a better way to handle this until we get the public API becomes better for our use cases. So we've decided to use the SAML authentication process, and the way this normally works is that as a user you request SAP resource, it sends you a IDP request that says this is the resource you want to access, give me some identifier for this, and then it has a redirect to the SAML process that has been set up, and this is most cases it would be using the SAP identity provider, but you could also have used other authentication providers like Microsoft Active Directory, Auth0, or some other process. Once that's happened, you would need to log into the resource to be able to do that. Then you would get a signed response request, and you'll send this to the SAP system, and you'll get some access token and a few more things in this process. So with this custom IDP, we are bypassing a few of these things to simplify the process. We could have used this, but it would just have meant that we would have a factor more to support Auth0, Active Directory, all these things, and in a lot of cases you would anyway not want to be able to have a non-user password combination to log, or something more than just a user password to log on. So the way it works is that we are doing the same request. When we get the SAML request, we just sign it ourselves and send it to the SAP system and get our tokens and work on it in this way. This way we don't need to do any authentication on an external system, making it a lot easier for us to manage these processes. And the big question is this secure? And well, I've been going through it, and as far as I can see it, it is just as secure, if not more secure, than the alternative, which is service keys and secrets. So the certificate that you generate is a private certificate that is generated on the Figaf instance. This private key is encrypted in the database, just like the secret service keys that we have. The private key is obviously never transmitted, and we as service providers do not have access to it. If a user managed to get into the private to the database, get the private key, he would need to decrypt it and then use that in the logon process. It is a lot easier if they already have access to just use the service keys, because they would give you the same kind of access, but a lot easier to implement. So I believe it is a secure option that makes a lot of these things easier. So to get started, we have created a video that shows you how to configure this, and it probably takes like 10 minutes per agent that you need to set up. And there's a few things. You need to create service keys, you need to copy paste themes, you need to create the certificate and upload it and configure roles. We will probably also improve a guided process like we have if you're using some of the other services. That will simplify the onboarding process, but for now we have not, we don't support that. So that's one of the things in our roadmap, so hopefully we can get the time down to just 5 minutes per agent that you want to configure. If to configure it, see this web page, and it is also linked in the description. I hope this is relevant and you think this is secure. If you have any questions, concerns, please send me a message, and we will try to figure out how to mitigate these things or see what is going on. So thanks for watching.